Hey kiddies, it's Terrible Triple Feature time once again, and we're going to do another actor-centric triple feature. This week we're looking at Vince Vaughn, Psychopath. Our menu includes Clay Pigeons, the remake of Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, and Domestic Disturbance. It's going to be a little difficult for our younger viewers to imagine, but at one point in the mid-90s, Vince Vaughn, not just Vince Vaughn, but most of the other members of the frat pack were trying to be actors. Like, they would take dramatic roles. Vince Vaughn himself was in Return to Paradise, A Cool Dry Place. Swingers, was kind of 50-50. And even Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World. Owen Wilson was in, he played his own psychopath in The Minus Man. And god damn it, if Luke Wilson, Ben Stiller, or Will Ferrell played, a real dramatic psychopath, I would have been all over that one. But no, we're going to be doing just the Vince Vaughns today. Now, Clay Pigeons was one of the earliest times I ever saw the production company scot-free. That was Ridley Scott and Tony Scott's production company. The movie is about stars Joaquin Phoenix, Vince Vaughn, and Janine Garofalo, among others. And Joaquin Phoenix plays Clay Pigeon. No, his name's not Pigeon, but his name is Clay. And he just happens to keep running into dead bodies. And that's even before he meets Vince Vaughn's Lester Long. And Lester is something of a serial killer in that he kills many people for fun. Or because they, as he puts it, just need killing. And I had this movie for a while on tape, and it's a pretty good time. Again, it's going to be hard to imagine, but Vince Vaughn's actually a pretty good actor. You give him different roles, he can play different roles. Not as much anymore, but he used to be able to. He's fairly creepy because he's one of those guys that you meet at a bar, friendly as hell, let's go fishing, and then all of a sudden, people around you start dropping like flies. It was also kind of fortuitous for Vince in that the director, I believe his name's David Dobkin, he went on to direct Vince Vaughn in Wedding Crashers, Fred Claus, and at least one other movie that escapes me at the moment. So it was good that they made that connection because they would help give each other work for, roughly a decade. Next up, we have Gus Van Sant's shot-for-shot remake of Psycho, starring Anne Hesh as Marion Crane, Vince Vaughn as Norman Bates, and Julianne Moore and Viggo Mortensen as Marion's sister. I forget what Marion's sister's name was. She was played by Vera Miles in the original, and Viggo Mortensen is playing the Sam Loomis character. It is, as I said, a shot-for-shot remake of Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. And if nothing else, it helped prove that making a shot-for-shot remake of an existing film is pretty damn pointless. As much fun as Vince Vaughn is as Norman, he really just doesn't live or just embody that role the way Anthony Perkins did. And, I mean, you can't really fault him for it, because, I mean, who the hell could do what Anthony Perkins did? He was incredible. A fun side note, though, is that Viggo Mortensen, playing Sam Loomis in this remake, was also Gwyneth Paltrow's boyfriend in the remake for Dial M for Murder with Gwyneth Paltrow and Michael Douglas. And if Viggo had been in another Alfred Hitchcock remake, that we'd be looking at yet a different triple feature. But, we make do with what we've got. And what we've got is Domestic Disturbance, a movie that nobody saw because it looked really boring. And, this is one of those times where I leave it to you guys for the viewing order. I would imagine you would want to end with Clay Pigeons to end on a high note. You would you actually should look at these movies in reverse order. I've been going in chronological, as this is more of a time capsule of the actor at a interesting stage of his career before he became what he is, which is not the worst thing, but, you know, there was a time when you could say Vince Vaughn never made a movie with Kevin James. But Domestic Disturbance stars John Travolta and Terry Polo and Vince Vaughn. It's basically by the numbers. John Travolta and Terry Polo used to be married. They're not married anymore. Terry Polo marries Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn has a shady past. The John Travolta and Terry Polo's son notices the shady past, but, you know, because Vince Vaughn is clever, nobody believes the kid, and scene. Except nobody saw it, because it looked really boring. But it was interesting, at least to view in trailers, because this was at that time when John Travolta would have a completely different haircut in every single movie in the mid-90s. Domestic Disturbance was, I believe, the last movie Vince Vaughn did before Old School, which you recall is the beginning of the frat pack, because that formed Luke Wilson, Will Ferrell, Vince Vaughn, and I want to say Judd Apatow, who's the director, went on to direct a bunch of other things, but I can't remember his name at the moment. It's interesting to remember the Vince Vaughn that was, to try to find amusement in the Vince Vaughn that is. It's just, I wish he wouldn't make the same movie over and over again, or at the very least stop making the same movie with Owen Wilson over and over again. It's sort of like Johnny Depp and Tim Burton. They need to take a break from each other and recharge their creative juices somehow, and hopefully they'll get around to that. But either way, if you want more Frat Pack Psychos, there's The Minus Man, and if you want more Viggo Mortensen and Alfred Hitchcock remakes, there's A Perfect Murder was the name of the remake that very few people actually saw. But you should check out all three of those. Probably skip Domestic Disturbance, but Clay Pigeons and Psycho are a decent enough time. I'll see you guys next week.